Hey YouTube, POD7 here once again. Sorry it's been so long. I feel like I open every video with that now, but just gotta be in the right mood to make videos constantly, and lots of stuff has come up, and sloth has set in, so I figured I would just show my Steam profile, since I've finally gotten into Steam as like a social network, kind of. And as you can see there, it says I'm level 42 up in the upper right corner. I started January 1st at level 7, so I've put a lot of work into getting badges and stuff like that. So anyway, my profile is now public, and if you want to add me on Steam, I have plenty of friend slots. I think over 500 now, so go ahead and do that. But anyway, this is not a video game video, although I will be speaking about another one eventually. This is, believe it or not, a comic book haul video. So let's get the modern stuff out of the way here. We got Bombshells. It seems like they put Batwoman on the cover of the first issue, and she's been in 3 or 4 issues since, and it's kind of getting ridiculous how much they're trying to like push Batwoman into obscurity, even though she was just in Batman Bad Blood. I think that was just their kind of way of testing to see if the hype is real, and hopefully all the Batwoman fans out there actually went and bought the movie and not just, pirate it like everybody does, seemingly. So, Bombshells is an okay book. I mean, it's not what I thought it was going to be, but there's been a lot of focus on Mara, surprisingly. As you can see here, her and Supergirl and Stargirl have a lot more scenes than I thought they would, considering Wonder Woman tends to be the main focus. But anyway, we have Catwoman 48. I am still having the same problem that I've always had if you've followed through all my comic book haul videos in the past, where somehow I miss an issue here and there. I don't know. It's always just Catwoman and occasionally Gotham Academy where I miss an issue. So I have no idea why. It's so weird. But Catwoman is turning back for the better. I don't know why they felt like turning her into a mob boss for basically like 8 months, I think it was, or maybe a whole year. But it wasn't that interesting, and all we got out of it was a new character that might be a sidekick eventually, it seems like. And the confirmation that Selena Kyle is bisexual in the New 52, which is pretty cool. I mean, progressiveness is always good. But it's kind of like, why bring up that character and that relationship and then have it go away in 3 issues, I think it was. Like, they kissed in 42, and then by 45 or 46, they've already gone their separate ways. So, I mean, I guess it kind of fits Selena Kyle's narrative, but you kind of want to see her be happy for longer than 3 issues. And it wasn't even really that happy to begin with. Gotham Academy is still going strong. It's a really nice kids book. Very simple, but at the same time, it has that charm that even adults can like, kind of like a Pixar movie. The art style is just amazing. It seems like all of DC's like fringe books, like Gotham Academy and Batwoman previously, and even stuff like All-Star Western when it was still going, they almost always have better art than the ongoing titles, and yet they sell worse, which is really depressing. But hopefully Gotham Academy survives Rebirth coming up. Comic Book Resource, one of their writers determined that they think Gotham Academy will stick around, which is pretty amazing considering DC is wanting to cut down to like 30-some books. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I would think since this is their strongest youth offering that they would keep it around, but you never know. Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death. I actually haven't read this yet, but I'm a huge fan of Poison Ivy. She was probably my second favorite villain character in Batman the Animated Series, behind Catwoman. So I've been a huge fan for almost 20 years now, or over 20 years now, right? Yeah, because animated series came out in the early 90s, so over 20 years, man. But I like the new costume they gave her when the New 52 started. I think is really, I don't want to say appropriate, but keeping up with the times, I'll say. If you want to see more of that, read Birds of Prey, New 52 volume. It's kind of cool because it goes from green and then sometimes it's orange, like in a fall foliage kind of way, and it just makes sense, and it's not as unlike the cover you see here. It doesn't always look like it's just body paint. So, which we will be seeing more of on covers here coming up. But this is a 1 of 6. I'm thinking about picking up Deadshot Katana. They have a team-up miniseries. I'm not really that interested in Deadshot. I just want Katana to live through Suicide Squad, the movie. So I think buying the comics might help that. And, well, I vainly hope that helps. But the issues are $4.99 for the Deadshot Katana miniseries, which is kind of ridiculous to me, but I still think $2.99 is kind of pushing it. But, you know, it's the sign of the times when you have to pay $2.99 for a monthly comic book. But, okay, now on to the real meat of this story. I went to Hall of Heroes in Ponca City, Oklahoma, which is the best comic shop I've ever been to in my entire life, including the comic shop I visited in New York City, which had 2 stories. Excuse me, I can't remember what the store was called there, but Hall of Heroes blew it out of the water just based on service and ease of finding things. So I took some stuff down there and got a lot of store credit, and so I picked up some pretty cool stuff. There's actually 2 trips worth here, but as you can see, I got Batwoman Volume 1 Hydrology in hardcover. I decided that I'm going to collect the hardcover collections and the paperback, which is, as usual, DC screwing over Batwoman and her fans by not releasing Volume 5 and 6 in hardcover. So I'll have to get paperback eventually, so I might as well collect them both. And then Batman, Harley, and Ivy Deluxe Edition, which you can't hardly see there, but it's basically a collection of different Harley and Ivy stories, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Batwoman Volume 1 Hydrology includes 0 issue from June 11. This was kind of the setup to show fans why Batwoman is getting her own series in the New 52, which came out in October 2011. Not to be confused with this number 0, which was actually number 13, and was completely unnecessary, basically. And then also, of course, number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And as you can see, the cover art. I don't know how people walked by this book on the stand and didn't buy it. Like, I think they averaged 24,000 a month when it was running. Before they kicked off J.H. Williams and W. Hayden Blackman. I don't know what the numbers were like when Draco took over, but yeah, it's just it's amazing to me that people saw something like this cover of number 5 and just walked by. Like, wouldn't you want to pick that up and see what the heck is going on in this book? I think a lot of people just assumed that the covers were like this too, but the inside, the inside matched the covers most of the time for quality. So I don't know. I think DC just dropped the ball big time. And the Harley and Ivy deluxe edition includes, of course, the Harley and Ivy miniseries, which was 1, 2, 3. And then here we have the Batman Adventures Annual number 1. You don't see Poison Ivy on there, but there was, I believe, a brief interaction where they're in a jail, where they're in Arkham, and Harley is annoying Poison Ivy, basically. Then we have the holiday special for Batman Adventures, which, look at this cover, man. I miss Batman Adventures so much. But this is the infamous... No, it's not the infamous. Where's the infamous? Batman and Robin Adventures number 8, where they kidnap Robin, and this is... I don't know if this is as notorious as the one coming up next, but this was one of the issues that I remember the most from my childhood, and it's probably at least partially to blame for why I'm so into redheads. Between her and April O'Neil, man. Batgirl Adventures number 1. This is really internet famous for this page here, where Batgirl assumes that Harley and Ivy are in a relationship, and Harley is kind of confused, and then she says, you mean like what they say about you and Supergirl? And she's like, no. But this is kind of Dini and Tim's, well, they were on this book, weren't they? Yeah, Paul Dini was, anyway. This was kind of their way of slowly pushing the envelope. It took until Gotham City Sirens to really push that envelope, and then finally now in the New 52 we have Harley Quinn's Little Black Book, I think, is where they finally showed them in bed together. And it was like, do you guys get it yet, or can we continue with this or not? And but yeah, this is in the deluxe edition of this collection. So if you're a fan of this page, you might consider buying it, because I'm pretty sure Batgirl Adventures number 1 is probably $30-$50 by itself. And this collection was $22.95, if I remember right. So just a cool piece of character history and internet subculture history, I guess you would call it. But yeah, I didn't even know this was in here until I got home and looked through it. So this is another issue. I'm not even really positive, because for some reason they decided not to put the covers in between each page, unless I'm an idiot and flip past them somehow. So I'm not entirely sure what the story is with them in here. I think that's supposed to be Punch and Judy taking out Nightwing, but I don't know. Batman Black and White, number 3 from the New 52 era. It has actually made an appearance on my haul videos before. I think probably episode 4 or 5, somewhere in there. This is the only issue where the cover isn't in black and white because whatever, I guess. I don't know. I think Dan DiDio might have been in this issue, so that's probably why he wanted to stand out, I guess. Oh, Dan. But their involvement in this issue is a little girl. Before they go on a heist, a little girl runs into the alley and runs into them and asks for their protection, and from a guy who said that he knew Batgirl. And basically they beat up a pedophile, and Batman lets them get away because he's a nice person. Moving on, Catwoman. Finally, some new information here. Catwoman. As you can see, this does not have the Comic Code Authority label on it, and it's at the top, I believe at the top of Catwoman, even though you can't see it here. It says, suggested for mature readers, which is kind of funny because considering the content in this miniseries here, it would probably be perfectly fine in the late 90s Comic Code Authority, or even early New Millennium Comic Code Authority code. So I just thought it was kind of silly, but this is from 1989, believe it or not. Oh, it says suggested for mature. God, I'm so dumb. Anyway, this is a mini-series. I haven't read all the way through, I just kind of flipped through it, but I got this in a set of 4. So I have all 4, but I just took pictures of the front and back before I flipped through them. So this is what issue 2's cover looks like, and issue 3, and then finally number 4. I feel like I've seen this cover to issue number 4 a lot. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like I have. I don't know why they never continued using that title logo that they have up there. I always thought that was pretty cool, but I'm a casual fan of Catwoman, if that's even possible. Mostly the Selena Kyle character and the dynamic she has with the heroes of DC. Because she's still a thief, but they still rely on her at certain points, which is kind of funny, and certainly unique. Well, except for Black Cat in Marvel Universe, but I think we all know why she exists. But I have several Catwoman miniseries, like When in Rome, and obviously her ongoing series, so I mean, I'm a casual fan in that I don't bother to go out and seek out entire runs of anything of hers, but like a miniseries I can pick up and just read through and enjoy in the short term. And I do enjoy the mid-90s Catwoman covers a lot, and you'll see why here in a second, but it's also the Catwoman I grew up knowing, so I'd pick up her issues whenever I see them. As you can see here, this is number 2. I believe in the last haul video I might have had number 1, I'm not sure, but as you can see, the Comic Code Authority logo is back, and yet I would consider this more risque than what was on the issue number 1 here, despite implications. But yeah, I think this is probably my favorite Catwoman costume, where she had like the thigh-high black leather boots and the elbow-deep gloves, and the purple with her hair out at the back, because it's kind of a mixture between, you know, this and her Silver Age, where she would just had the black, or the purple cowl and then like the green cape for no reason. But yeah, so I picked up number 2, so I have 1 and 2 from this volume now. I believe they're the same volume. And of course I saw this and saw the 0 Hour logo, and that was a huge event when I was a kid, and that I really loved, because when you're a kid, if something comes up and you see multiple versions of the same hero, you're like, whoa! So several issues back in the day would have like the 0 Hour logo, and then at the bottom there would be heads of just the same hero, but a million different versions, like Hawkman. I remember that one really well, because I was like, why are there so many? Nobody likes Hawkman. Which isn't true, of course, but I had to pick this up because 0 Hour is just hilarious to me as an adult looking back on it. And I'm going to plug in my computer right quick, so you might hear a snap. This actually came out after number 2. You can't really see the dates very well, but trust me, it came out. Kind of like earlier when I was talking about Batwoman number 0 and number 0. The second number 0 came out 12 issues later, somehow. So yeah, I just like picking up these mid-90s Catwoman issues. I don't think I'll try to get like 1 through 25 like I'm trying to do with the Huntress's first run back in the 70s. And the update on that is I have 1 through 17 now. And then I picked up this because I don't remember this at all. I don't remember Scare Tactics. I don't remember Scream Queen. I don't remember any of it, but apparently it was some kind of holiday, like Halloween event, because there's in the back of this it says pick up Robin plus Werewolf Man or something like that, and so there must be 2 or 3 other ones like this, but I'm pretty sure this is a 1-issue thing. But I don't know. I just like the look, like the style of the cover, and as you can see, the Comic Code Authority is up there with Catwoman basically naked. So it just struck me as funny after picking up that miniseries from earlier, and then seeing this and being like, what's the difference here? And the difference turns out to be about 10 years. So, pretty interesting. It wasn't very, the actual story in the comic that I actually bothered to read wasn't very interesting. Scream Queen turns out to just be a vampire. Spoilers. So, yeah, mostly picked this one up for the cover, and I'm probably not going to bother getting the other plus things unless there's like a Wonder Woman plus or a Supergirl plus. Maybe a Superman plus, because I can't imagine what kind of monster they would pair up with him. So, we'll see. And then I picked up Green Lantern number 108. If you're wondering who this is, that's Wonder Woman. No, I'm just kidding. This is Jade. She is the daughter of Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern. Who she's green because he had been exposed to the star heart of the original Green Lantern so long. I think that's what it was. I don't know. But I'm always a sucker for team-up covers, and this one was just out in the open. I wasn't like looking for Green Lantern books, so I picked this one up just because I figured it's kind of rare to see Wonder Woman and Jade like just on a cover randomly together and not be in a huge group shot or something. So just thought it'd be pretty cool to pick up. It wasn't too expensive or anything, so. And then a mistake on my part. I picked up issue 1 and 2 of Huntress, and I already have it. So I might be taking these back. I'm not sure. I wouldn't make him like give me credit back for it or anything, but I need to like make a list on my phone or on my iPod or something and keep track of what miniseries I actually have so I don't do this again. Because if I ever went to the other shop that I go to that is horribly expensive, and picked up something like this, I would be extremely sad. And next up, this is the Gotham City Sirens book that I mentioned earlier during Harley and Ivy, and Dave at Hall of Heroes, he has ownership of several number ones, but he sent them all off to the, what are they called? It's a group that grades comics to, like near mint condition, if you've ever heard of that term. It's people that decide that professionally and give it a grade. And he sent every single number one he had of Gotham City Sirens to them, because apparently copies of number one with scores higher than a 9, like an 8 or 9.0, are getting like $50, $60, $90. So I was happy to pick up 2, 3, and 4. I couldn't afford to get number 5, even though he had it. I was running out of room on my credit. So I just picked up 2, 3, and 4. I figure I'll ask him whenever he gets the number ones back. Like to hold one for me, and then scrounge up enough to grab number 1, and then just be fine with having 1 through 4 for a while. I would say that number 4 probably, I didn't actually look up what number 1 looks like, but I would think number 4 is probably the most iconic cover from the Sirens series, that I can remember anyway. But yeah, this is purely this entire series. I mean, the story is okay. It's basically what you imagine it would be with Harley Quinn around. But this is definitely all about the art. The covers are obviously amazing, and then the inside, it's just so like sleek, and I don't know. It's hard to describe how good it is, but also like accessible. It's not like high art or anything, but just very sleek, and of course it's all like women in tight clothing, but as you can see there on like number 3, there's some style to it, and it's not just like that Spider-Woman cover that everybody got mad about. Yeah. Let's just move on. This is I guess this would be the Prime thing that I picked up at the shop. Supergirl number 1, first print and second print variant. These two together were $40, and I'm not really interested in selling them. I'll hold on to them. They'll be in my collection until I die, probably, but if for some reason they shoot up in price because the Supergirl TV series really takes off or something, or she gets a movie and it's really popular, then I would consider selling it if it got up into like triple digits, of course. But I highly doubt it's ever going to be worth anything like, the Silver Age books where people are paying 6 figures for them. So I love the way her hair blends into the background there, and the intensity of her eyes. Just a very well done cover, and of course I'm a huge fan of Jeff Loeb, so this was definitely something I wanted to pick up. I didn't realize it was going to be worth that much, because I didn't think Supergirl was that popular. Yeah. I just figure most people prefer Wonder Woman over Supergirl, but yeah. And same day that I went to pick up the Supergirl books, I picked up Project Cross Zone 2. I am about 30 minutes into it so far. I go in phases where I'll play the 3DS for like an entire week, just all day, it seems like, and then I'll go 2 or 3 months without even picking it up and letting the power die and stuff. So I'm hoping this will. It's been fun for the first 30 minutes, so I don't know why I wouldn't pick it up again. But I've also been putting off making this video for like 3 days now, so just a fun game if you like beat 'em ups and combos and grid-based strategy and item management. Then this series is probably going to be up your alley. If you like any characters from Capcom, Bandai Namco, Sega, or what's their names? Lucina, Crom, and somebody from Xenoblade, I think, are in it as well. I really was hoping Nintendo would latch on to this and become a full-fledged participant in making this game and allowing their characters to be in this game, because if you don't know the mechanics, you have a pair of characters that fight an enemy. It's kind of like Fire Emblem on the grid, and you move characters around, but the characters are actually a pair, and when a pair runs into an enemy or attacks an enemy, it goes into like a beat-em-up style mode, and you have the pair, which is like, as you can imagine, Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter are a pair, but you can mix and match characters. And then there's also solo characters that come in as assists. And I really was hoping they would have Link and Zelda as a pair, and then Ganon as a assist, because then you'd have the Triforce, and that totally makes sense. But for whatever reason, they decided Lucina and Crom from Fire Emblem Awakening and some random guy from Xenoblade or whatever needed to be in there. So hopefully, I imagine they'll do a third one, because the series it's, I wouldn't say popular, but it sells. So especially with the Fire Emblem characters, I'm sure there's a contingent in their fan base that will pick that up just because they're in there. So if there's a third one, hopefully Nintendo will just go all out and be a part of it, because you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, like Peach and Daisy, and then Rosalina as an assist, or Mario and Luigi with Peach as an assist, or Mario, Luigi, and Bowser as an assist, and on and on and on. DK and Diddy, and then Trixie Kong as an assist. I mean, and I just thought of those last three, like, off the top of my head making this video. Obviously, I thought about the Triforce before, but yeah, I think they should definitely be a part of the next one. And then lastly, I picked up some buttons here. Batwoman on the left, Katana in the middle, Catwoman on the right. I believe that Batwoman one is from issue 19, so look back through my haul videos and prove me wrong. But this Katana one is definitely from Birds of Prey #1, New 52. And I have here Katana. She's the only one kneeling down, which kind of worries me about this picture, but definitely looking forward to seeing how she works out in the movie. But that's going to do it for me today. I believe that's everything. Yeah, it's everything. So, to recap, lots of cool older stuff. I say older, but 20 years ago stuff. 2 hardcover trades. Project Cross Zone 2, which is fun. I'm I've officially started a prayer circle for Katana. Hopefully she survives. If you want to add me on Steam, my name is, my Steam ID is payable_on_death7. Creative, I know, but basically my YouTube name with underscores in between on either side of on. So, yeah, I don't have too many games, as you can see if you go back earlier in the video. Most of the ones I have are solo player, but I have Sanctum, which is multiplayer, and Left 4 Dead 2 is amazing, obviously. And I would happy to play that with anybody as long as you can handle my lag and my noobishness, because I have like zero experience with keyboard and mouse, which is the only way I can really play it on my computer now. So, but yeah, we can just be friends too and trade cute emoticons between each other. So, yeah, that should do it for me. I've been POD7, and I'm signing out.